So one of the great tools that you have as a Girl Scout adult volunteer is the Volunteer Toolkit, or the VTK. Where you can find it is by going to the Girl Scouts of Maine website, www.girlscoutsofmaine.org, and coming over here to select MyGS/VTK. When you do that, it's going to ask you to sign in. So I saved my passwords like you're not supposed to on my computer, but then I don't have to remember them, right? And then select Volunteer Toolkit. It will open to your troop. In my case, I have multiple demo troops, so I have a drop-down menu here. If you have 2 or more troops, you'll have a drop-down menu too. See, it's got all of the different troops listed. But if you only have 1 troop, it'll open to just your 1 troop. Now, the senior troop already has materials plugged into it, but if you look at the cadet troop, I think it does not. Oh, it has some. Okay. Pretend it does not. So let's, instead of looking at seniors and cadets, let's look at Brownies. Because the Brownie troop, they're 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and we want to get them going. And so my co-leaders and I have already been in here, and we've already done a little bit of planning for the coming year. We know that our first meeting is going to be on August 30th, and so we've set up in our calendar that August 30th will be the first meeting. Now, we could change that. What if we discovered that there was a big school open house on the 30th, and so we needed to change it? We could actually change the date of that meeting to the following Thursday and just push everything back a week. I'm curious if that'll push everything back. Okay, thank you. It at least pushes the first meeting back. And then it kept the following meetings on their regularly scheduled dates. That's great, because we already had some of them in our calendars. So the first meeting and the second meeting, these are some standard meetings that are in all of the tracks. Randomly, we selected the Wonders of Water Journey because we remembered that the night of the recruitment, it was raining, and when it kind of stopped raining, there were puddles in the grass, and the girls were out playing in those puddles and having a great time. So we thought, oh, that'd be really fun. They would get a kick out of Wonders of Water. And we figured we'd at least start with that, because all of the tracks start with this intro meeting and with a jump into journeys and badges meeting. And in both cases, these are for the girls to get to know Girl Scouts and each other. So whether the girls decided to continue with the Wonders of Water Journey or decided that they wanted to change to something else, these two would get us all started on the right foot. So say that we did those 2 meetings and the girls were like, you know, we think we want to do badges first because there are a bunch of badges that we'd like to do. Then we can go up to Explore, and see, it says the troop's year plan is set as the Wonders of Water Journey, but the girls want to do badges, and so we went to the pre-selected tracks to look at some of the different badge years that are already in place. Now, when it says pre-selected tracks, that means these are badge meetings or journey meetings that have been organized and planned out by folks at GSUSA. So somebody's already thought through this, which, if you're new to Girl Scouting, that's a handy help. If you've been around Girl Scouting before, or maybe you're a teacher and you've got some experience doing some curriculum, you could select your own with your girls, of course, adding petals and badges and journey activities from a variety of places. But if this is your first year, you might want to start with one of these pre-selected tracks. And the nice thing here is when you click on that, you can look at previews to see what the different badges are in each of the tracks. So this first one, it says it's got Making Friends, Home Scientist, Hiker, Money Manager, Meet My Customers, which is one of the cookie badges, entrepreneurship badges, Take Action 1, 2, and 3, and then the Closing Celebration. So those are all activities for that first track. Now we could close that preview and let's look at Badge Year 2. Badge Year 2 has First Aid, Cabin Camper, Fling Flyer Design, Leap Bot Design, Give It Back, Meet My Customers, Philanthropist, and the Closing Celebration. That's where I lean, I gotta tell you. Let's look what the third year does. First aid also. Oh, nope, it doesn't. Eco-friend, space science adventurer, cybersecurity basics, cybersecurity safeguard, cybersecurity investigator, money manager, and again, the closing celebration. So the girls knew that they wanted to do badges, and when they looked at them all, they decided that they wanted to do this Brownie Year 2 that has first aid and cabin camper because they're super excited about going camping, and the fling flyer design challenge because the idea of building things that might fly sounds fun to them, and then leap bots, also a fun thing. So they were stoked about this. So we're going to select that track. Yes, select. And what it's telling me there is it's going to dump what was in there before. So even though we had selected Wonders of Water, it was going to get rid of all of that and just put in this badge year. So that's fine, because you see those first two meetings, they're just the same as what we just did. And so our year plan is still accurate, even though we're past those now. And we're going to jump right into the first aid badges at the end of September and beginning of October. Now, we've also, the girls heard about this Lego Grand Prix, and they're interested in doing that. So we can add that to our calendar by going up here to add activity. And it's a council activity. It was in the compass. And so we can put in here grand, oops, didn't spell it right, R-A-N-D, and just see if it comes up with that. And it did, hooray. And select the activity and register for the event. What it just does is it opens another tab to give me eBiz so I can register us for it. But it also, when I click back to the VTK, it also added it to our calendar. So even if we didn't register for it, it put it on our calendar. And that might be good to check in with the parents to make sure everybody's on board. Our troop happens to meet in Bangor, so this is a perfect place for our troop, a perfect field trip for our troop to go to. So it added it to our calendar, and that's all handy. Now, something else that you'll want to know about this, the handiness of the Volunteer Toolkit, is that when you click on any of these meetings, it gives you an agenda for the meeting. So you can see the different activities. It has something to do as the girls arrive. It has an opening ceremony. It has the different activities toward the badge, and then another activity, food fighters, that just sounds fun, and then a game and a closing ceremony right there. And it has our meeting lasting an hour and 25. Well, our troop of 14 actually meets a little bit longer than that. So we might look for another agenda item, or we might look at some of these activities and think about how we could stretch them. Now, these trees are awesome. What these trees indicate is that there's an opportunity to do the activity outside instead of inside. So if our girls are excited about going camping, why don't we move these activities outside, and we'll select first aid scavenger hunt because that's the outdoor activity, and we know because it made the tree green. And we're going to do wrap it up camping, and again made the tree green, and then that'll give us the activities that are outside. If it came to it and it turned out that day it was raining and it was just awful and we couldn't go outside, we could always change it at the last minute and make it the indoor activity instead. But for our purposes of planning, let's keep it as the outdoor one. Then, once we have our meeting set, our agenda set the way that we picture it for our troop, we can go here to Manage Communications and click on this Meeting Reminder Email. And this is a pre-written email that we can edit. We can change things in it, but it will send automatically to all the parents and caregivers to let them know when the meeting is, where it's going to be, and the location, we need to add that in, what the topic is, and some of the things that the girls will be doing, as well as my phone number so that they can add it. That always makes me laugh because that's my home number that, only robocalls go to, but that's fine. And so that will email right out. How cool is that? And like I said, you can edit it if you decided that you were going to have some kind of snack and you wanted everybody to bring something for the snack or whatever. You can type right into it and add, we'll have a snack, whatever, so that they get that information too. And you can close out of that. Then once you've got your meeting set so you like it, you can go back to your year plan and look it over. And again, asking the girls, how do you like how this looks? And the girls say, hey, we like the first aid is right up front. But I think camping, we might want to put camping in the springtime because we're super excited about doing those fling flyers. So let's move the camping badges to later in the spring. So we'll take, right here, you grab the little dots, and we'll slide that back to after cookies, after meet my customers. And we'll take the other one, the first cabin camper, and move it down. I do find that moving them down is easier than moving them up, and that could just be me. You might be more adept, but you'll go into your own VTK and you'll play with it and move things around and be able to show the girls how it all works together, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So you see that things are moved. So the first aid badges are going to be up front, then we'll go to the Grand Prix. Then we're going to work on those fling flyers and leap bots, and then it's going to be cookie business time. How perfect is that? Because January 3rd, that's right about the time that the cookie sale kicks off, and we'll start looking at our entrepreneurship as good Girl Scout brownies and meeting our customers, and then start planning that camping. So activities for your girls, and put in an order that you can manage. And again, anytime you see this tree, you know that some of the activities in the agenda could be moved outdoors, and somebody's already thought through how they could be moved outdoors. So it's really a nice thing to walk into when Girl Scouts is a brand new experience for you. Some tools that you'll want to make note of that are along here on the tab bar. My Troop is where you're going to find your roster. And it's probably, well, it's at least one of the most accurate rosters for your troop. Our demo troops don't have any girls in them. We only have adults in them. But if we had girls, you'd see them listed right here. And you see you can download the list to your mobile device or your computer, and you can print it out. Or you can print it out. You don't have to download it to print it. So handy. You also have you could go right to meeting plans. And it'll tell you what the meeting plan is for your next meeting, so that you don't have to go to your year plan. You can just click on meeting plan. It'll take you to your next meeting, so you've got all that information. Notice also on this meeting plan, it gives you the materials list. It tells you what you need to be sure you have for the different parts of your meeting. That's helpful because, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I would leave that to the last day and be scrambling. So it was nice to have that list right in one place. As well as a meeting overview and information. The resources tab is awesome because it gives you a direct link to all sorts of resources for your level of Girl Scout and for things that you might need access to. Volunteer Essentials. Remember, this is your Girl Scout Adult Volunteer Encyclopedia. So that's a handy thing to have right there. The safety activity checkpoints, very helpful. The activity form in case you're doing an overnight, out-of-state, or high-risk activity and you need to fill out an additional activity form. It gives you the badge chart and the badge explorer so that you can click on any of these and it'll show you what's there. I want to see what the awards log is. An awards log. So you can keep track of, each girl could have her own awards log to keep track of the different awards that she's earned. This might also be a great way to show the girls the different badges and journey awards that they can earn so that they can make decisions based on names and how cute they are. So all resources intended for you to make your Girl Scout troop girl-led, learn by doing, and cooperative learning. And then finally, there's the finances tab. At the end of every year, Girl Scouts of Maine has to prove that we are a nonprofit, that we're an active nonprofit. And that means that all of our troops need to show that they are nonprofit and that they are, how much they're earning, how much they're spending, and how it's breaking down, what the balance of their account is. And maybe how they're using money that they're going to carry over, because you wouldn't want to zero out every year, right? Then you wouldn't have money in the fall. So we always want to, if you've got more than $250, we ask that you put in a little blurb about what the troop is planning to use the money for, that they're carrying into the next year. And from this point up is what parents can see, because parents can log into the Volunteer Toolkit and get the parent view. And they'd be able to see the income, expenses, and balance, as well as the upcoming activities and the upcoming meetings. They just can't modify it. So only the troop leaders who've gone through training are going to be able to modify the agenda and the schedule for your troop. Parents will be able to see it. And then those troop leaders will also be able to add information in here, the basics about where your troop account is and the troop number, and then activities that your troop does during the year. And this is something that will be due in June, but I really encourage you to fill it out as you go along the way. You know, if you're working on a journey, make a couple of notes about the journey you're working on. You can always come back and edit it. But if you wait until June and you try to go back and think about all of the things you did over the course of the year, it's hard to remember because a year is a long time. So take a little time each month and make note of things that are going on in your troop. And the nice thing is you'll be able to see if one of your co-leaders made some updates, you'll be able to see that. Whoever made the last update, it shows right in there. So that's handy for communicating with each other. So the Volunteer Toolkit, a tool for you to use with your troop.